And so it is time for me to get to one of the most requested follow-up videos I have been asked to do over the last several years. And that is, what does your favorite author say about you? This video performed spectacularly for me over the years, and I just haven't gotten to a round 2 yet because I've been busy with worse performing stuff that takes way more effort. So without any further ado, let us go ahead and start doing a psychological evaluation of you based off of your favorite author in the science fiction and fantasy space. Beginning with Lev Grossman, The Magicians. You very much so enjoyed watching the downfall of J.K. Rowling online, and you do have like good taste in literature, but at the same time, it's not as good as you think it is.
Boom. Roasted.
Bryce O'Connor. You're Bryce O'Connor. I did that for me, so I'll get a call from Bryce telling me to go myself. Rebecca Kwong. One, you are genuinely a fan of the writing, but you also do cross the boundary of being a fan of the author as well and how they have improved in their career, and you are following, excited to see what they will come out with next. You also don't have like one specific subgenre of fantasy you follow, and you like that you're following an author who seems to be able to craft a story in multiple different ways that convey some like N.K. Jemisin style social commentary through epic fantasy science fiction storytelling. Also, you're frustrated by how many people don't understand why exactly you like this writing. Zamil Akhtar. You are feasting these days. This era of fantasy is one of your favorites ever, though the slow pulling back of the tide of grimdark is ebbing a little on you because you want that gunmetal gods feeling, and we're entering the age of cozy and romantasy, and you went from being at like the peak to now your TBR stuff you're excited for is growing thinner and thinner, and people are recommending more and more stuff to you that you're just not sure if it's going to be your favorite. Rachel Smith, I hate to say this, you're still on Tumblr. You're still actively using Tumblr as your like primary social media, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, oh, all right. It's like seeing a nearly extinct animal. It's like, oh, I hope it lives for like a while longer. It's happy and healthy. I'm gonna show my kids this. Guys, this was common when I was young. Adrian Tchaikovsky.
That's not correct.
You either also have Neil Stephenson high in your ranking, or you just haven't read Neil Stephenson yet. And in addition to that, you're frustrated that there has not been a great adaptation of an Adrian Tchaikovsky work, but you haven't fully thought through like how difficult that would actually be. And the fact that, do you really think Hollywood right now can handle this? I don't think so. James Islington. The success of this has validated so many opinions you've had for so long since the Lycanus trilogy came out, and now you have something that you enjoy even more, and you're excited for its sequels because we know this author can put out sequels in a reasonable time frame and is getting better. You lucky son of a... Christopher Paolini. Like me, you were homeschooled for a long stretch of time. It sucked. Peter S. Beagle. You're someone over 40 years old who still regularly goes to cons and has hand sanitizer with them at all times.
And by you, I mean me.
I am the most confident in this one of any of them I've said so far. Sarah J. Moss, who I don't actually have a physical copy, I only have the audiobook. Forgive me. You are so tired of people insinuating you masturbate that much. You don't diddle the skittle every single chapter. That's not actually what the appeal of this is, and it's frustrating because like there is a conversation outside of the smutty stuff you would like to have as well. But you do like the smutty stuff. James S.A. Corey. The domination of the conversation that the show has had is like a double-edged sword where you enjoy the fact that there are elements of this story you can communicate with your friends about, but it's not the same as the books, and you've kind of talked out about the show and the point where it's kind of even wearing on your ability to talk about the books, and it's frustrating because you love this so much. It's like a child to you. But even your own headcanon has started to be influenced by the show. Over time, it's wearing away at you slowly, and you're like, wait, was that scene, I'm just envisioning it like it was in the show, or was it actually in the books? I don't know. and that's the downside of adaptation. Oh, and you did have a moment in your life where you went, oh, it's 2 authors. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Laurel K. Hamilton. You know where the modern trends started. You appreciate what is genuinely a classic, and you have so much to say about how this book is far more influential than most people give it credit for. That being said, you don't often recommend it to a lot of people because where the series ends up kind of makes it difficult, doesn't it? Fonda Lee. This might be a bit of a reach, but I'm pretty confident in this. You have very good taste in modern cinema. You like movies, and pacing in stories and structure mean a lot to you. Specifically, you like someone who has an artistic bend to their style that's strong enough for you to be like, yeah, this hits in a certain flavor. You don't like reading a lot of like the typical hero's journey stories, and if something just has like insert standard characters, you lose interest in it so fast. But you are not obnoxious about it at all. It does not come from a place of pretension. It instead comes from a place of very genuine, just taste. Matt Dinniman. I love it too. It's amazing, and I will talk to anyone about this for so long. But favorite? Like, you're the blue raspberry kid. If someone is like, what's your favorite flavor? You say blue raspberry and not just raspberry. And it's like, that's not even a real thing, my guy. Like, I get it. Me too, kinda, but That being said, if you haven't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, what the f is wrong with you? Read it. Oh, and you 100,000% have a pet. And if you don't, your life would be drastically improved by getting one. You're actually one of the few rare examples where getting a pet might help your depression. And yes, you also suffer from either mild depression or anxiety. I'm aware.
Maybe you're projecting.
Stephen King. It's not commitment, you are loyal. You are a loyal individual who is able to remember the highs of a career decades gone. You may even still defend his newer stuff, but you're aware, even if you're not saying it out loud, you know it's not what it once was, while still being good, even great sometimes. And you will never forget the impact those first stories had. And that's not a criticism. That is an admirable quality. I appreciate you, and thank you for not being just a modern trends writer. We have way too many of those now. I myself suffer from recency bias regularly, and you are immune from it.
But first,
I want to give a rather heaping thank you to today's sponsor, Square of the Space, aka Squarespace. The all-in-one platform, you've heard it before, that allows you to develop your entire online web portfolio within one convenient, easy-to-manage ecosystem. Whether you're managing an already existing growing brand or starting out with something completely new, Squarespace has the features and tips and tricks to help you launch as smoothly and efficiently as possible without missing out on key features. Their asset library allows you to upload, organize, and access all of your content from one place, as well as manage all of your files from one central hub and use them across the entire Squarespace platform. And if you don't have a background in coding, don't worry, you're literally just going to be dragging and dropping and placing features on your website that'll be functional immediately with minimal effort and allowing you to be creative with its layout. If it's blogs, email campaigns, gated member areas, or even an entire shop, Squarespace has what you need to get going and launch your business today. So head on over to squarespace.com, start a free trial, and when you're ready to make a first purchase of a domain or website, go to squarespace.com/Daniel Greene and you'll get 10% off. Back to the video. Terry Brooks, you are forgiving, you are understanding, and you are always willing to give someone a second shot. Plus, you like the classics. You're someone who likes that warm, cozy feeling, not like modern cozy fantasy, but instead that warm, cozy feeling of just, it's like Lord of the Rings. It's that era. It's good. It's good. Yeah, people might die. It's got some high stakes, but it's cozy. H.G. Wells. You don't exist. Anthony Burgess. Burgess? Burgess. Anthony Burgess. Anthony Burgess.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
You watched the movie, then you read the book, and the movie informed way too much your opinion of this book, and you got a little bit of a flaw in your media literacy consumption, in my opinion, allegedly. You might also continually say that The Dark Knight is still the best superhero movie of all time, and again, you're not wrong, but you don't need to bring it up every single time superhero movies are brought up, please. Sun Eater by Christopher Rocchio. You're the opposite of the Stephen King fans. You do bandwagon. You suffer from recency bias. It's okay. I do too. It's a very human phenomenon, and I'm not going to take that away from you. Enjoy your modern stuff. Just be willing every now and then to go back, look at a classic, sit on it for a year or two, and then decide if it's your favorite of all time. It doesn't have to be what is giving you dopamine currently that you say is your all-time fave. Just so you know. Ken Liu. The reason I have not gotten a book for you out in a couple of weeks is because I'm getting through the entirety of the Dandelion Dynasty, and my God, is it? But if Ken Liu is your favorite author, you have an immensely specific taste. More so than you might realize at first. This is like surgical precise for what Ken Liu was crafting. It is a style, but you are also someone who reads into text, who is okay with structure and pacing just being thrown out the window and having a cooking show inserted in a fantasy epic grimdark series because of the purpose it serves to the wider story and the themes. It's all about the soul of what's trying to be communicated underneath the narrative. That's what you care about, and it's impressive that that's your favorite. I cannot wait to get you a full review on this. I have thoughts. ML Wong. First of all, kudos for being one of the early people willing to give indie authors a try. I appreciate you. And on top of that, yeah, you're willing to overlook some minor flaws to appreciate what was accomplished artistically underneath something. You don't care if something has unanswered questions or there's just like some corny dialogue here or there. It's the big picture once again. You don't need to be as stylized as some authors, but you enjoy seeing a type of character who wouldn't typically get the hero's journey suddenly handed the torch. You love an underdog, and you like that fighting against the world feeling that permeates this text so heavily, as well as culture and world building. This is a surprisingly culture world building dense book for its size, and that is specifically one of the reasons it appeals to you. Lee Bardugo, you loved Buffy the Vampire the Slayer when it was coming out, but you still appreciate and love Buffy, of course, but your taste has matured and evolved, but you still kind of want a similar-ish vibe, and my God, have you found it. Because this is simply an evolution, a improvement, I dare say, enough to piss off a lot of people of that premise, growing it up for the 2024 era without being dragged down by a character like Xander.
Where's the creep that turned me into a spider-eating man?
Travis Baldry, Legends and Lattes. You got the bandwagoning problem as well, a touch. You are under 30. Oh my God, I'm over 30. I said that not realizing I was excluding myself from that group. And you do genuinely dream about just owning a coffee shop sometimes. You don't want to do it. Like, you don't want to go through the paperwork, running a business, yada, yada, yada. But the fantasy of just owning a coffee shop that's kind of your own space and you decorate it and it's doing well. Gilmore Girls, you got it. Yeah, you're also a big Gilmore Girls fan. I just thought of that as I said it, and as someone who is also a Gilmore Girls fan, this you.
You're everything I would like to be.
Oda! Goda. You are constantly holding yourself back and biting your tongue. There is a truth within these pages that you struggle to even put into words sometimes. But you wanna preach, you wanna hold it like a Bible and tell everyone, this is the greatest thing that's ever been.
Hello, my name is
Daniel Greene.
And can I leave this book with you for you to just peruse?
And in some ways, you're kind of right. This is one of the best epic fantasies of all time. And it's in your heart. It'll actually stick with you until you're probably dead. This is an infection that has no cure. Or you quit about 200, 300, maybe 400 chapters ago, and what you experienced means the world to you, but at some point you realize you can put it down and you don't necessarily need an ending. Journey before destination. You just appreciate what you had. Kentaro Miura. You've had a really rough couple of years for many reasons, and I'm sorry. You're also probably someone who went through a lot of growth and change. You might not necessarily have the same political opinions you did 5-10 years ago. And that waking up, that realization, it comes with like some serious emotional challenge. And then on top of that, you've had other things put on your plate. to the point where that dish might even have a couple cracks in it. But hey, embrace it, fix them up, and sometimes the way we fix those cracks is a new beauty, a new part of us we can be proud of. I got a little too deep, didn't it? Hugh Howey, the exact opposite. You've had a great couple of years. The world, you know, stuff's happening and it's not great all the time, but you personally, you've been fed. Madeline Miller, you are a very specific breed that I want to dive into because you are kind of a fan of modern fantasy, modern entertainment, but you have a very well-rounded view of it where you take like all factors into account and you want the modern genre to hold up to the standards of the classics, and you found that and you are thrilled. Specifically because you also really like this specific aesthetic, and the fact that it's being applied so thoroughly makes you gushy. I just found out I don't like saying gushy in a positive way like that. Guy Gavriel K, you spend a bunch of time in record stores. Douglas Adams, you also spend a bunch of times in record stores, but you do not like the other guy who spends a bunch of time in record stores. You know he's a good dude. You just don't vibe. But this has just been my best attempt to do an impression of a BuzzFeed personality quiz article. How did I do? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what authors you'd like to see covered next time. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.